How's it going, everyone, and welcome to my video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at a few tournament games that I've played since I achieved my chess all-time high score, and as you can probably tell from the title, I kind of struggled and need to try harder over the board. So, to give a little bit of context, my friend Logan has been trying to get National Master, and we organized some tournaments to sort of like help him get over the hump. So this first tournament, it was a double quad, which means it was 4 players. So it was 4 players. You play each player twice, once with white, once with black. So it was a total of 6 rounds. And I'll show like the players and standings, everything afterwards. But the players were myself, Logan, who is 2188, Daryl West, who's 1700, and Tonish, who is about 1800. So without further ado, we are going to be going over the games. So we'll go over some of them. I'm not going to go over all of them since it's been a lot of games, but this was round 2. In round 1, I lost to Logan with the black pieces. I played a French. It was interesting for a few moves, but I misplayed it, and then he just kind of eviscerated me. So this is round 2. I'm playing against Daryl West. Daryl is someone very solid player and very interesting style, and he's been featured in one of my videos. Yeah, I was hoping to get the win here, bounce back from losing to Logan. So, and this video is not necessarily going to be deep insights into all the moves. As you can see, this is sort of a Dutch structure when he plays f5. Wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but I figured that I had a pretty good position here. I played rook b1 here to get the b4 expansion. He played c6, b4, takes, bishop b6. And then here, when I put my queen on b6 and he didn't react to it, well, he did. He moved his bishop away. Because my threat, if he doesn't do anything, is to play c5, which would discover attack the king and attack the bishop. So he does go bishop c7. I think king h8 was advised, but alas, he goes bishop c7, and it's kind of a critical decision because I'm sort of contemplating, do I want to play c5? Do I want to play b5 and b6 in some situations? What exactly do I want to do here? I decided to go b5. I thought this made more sense because I thought c5 there was like d5, and maybe I'd be relinquishing a little bit of control, but I could play b5 here and it's okay. So I played b5 here, he went h6. Again, not reacting to this. So I'm calculating here, like, do I go c5 and then, like, b6? I lock in the bishop. I can put the rook in, but he takes. And yes, I'm dominating the file, but black's doing fine because they could take. And if I try to go rook a8 or something, there is, well, this doesn't even attack anything. So he could even just go, I mean, computer's saying knight g6. I even thought there were, like, knight c8 ideas trying to go after the pawn. So it seemed like it was a little bit of overextending. So I played rook a1 here, just trying to challenge the a file, which had been opened actually a while ago when I played b4. Rook a1, he played bishop b6, I played queen b2 to sort of facilitate a potential trade and ultimately ownership of the a file. He went queen d7, then we traded, rook a1, takes, and my advantage has kind of relinquished, although with my queen on a7, I have a pretty good pawn structure. I felt like, you know, and my bishop on g2 could still be really strong. I felt like there was still something to play for. And also, just for context, the time controls game 30, delay 5, so time pressure can become an issue later on for either player. He played bishop d8, knight e1. I played knight e1, one, because I wanted to open up the bishop, but also I thought my knight would be really good going to c2 and b4, and I just thought, yeah, there'd be potential attacks. So he played knight c8, I went queen a4, he played knight b6, and here I found a very interesting move. It doesn't necessarily win a pawn like I thought it did, but it kind of makes the position more difficult because he's attacking my queen, but what I can do, I don't have to move the queen away. I can do a danger level. I can go b takes c6, and I am attacking the queen. If he just recaptures, I take the pawn, and I'm up clean pawn. And then what happens in the game, knight takes a4, takes d7, takes. I'm threatening this. Now, where he messed up is he should play either b6 or apparently even b5 is really good for him, which is interesting. But let's just say, for argument's sake, b6. And I go here to try to defend my pawn, and he can just go knight takes or bishop takes. Bishop takes, I'd be happy to just trade off the bishops and just try to play this endgame. But the point either way, even if he plays knight takes, is he has a weak pawn on b6, and it's slightly better for white, but probably a drawish endgame if a perfect play happens. Although there's a chance that one of us would have messed up, and it could have been a different result. So he played bishop takes b7, which just gives me the pawn, and now I have what is, for all intents and purposes, a winning endgame. I'm simply up a pawn, and once I get this knight activated, then I should be able to move forward. Although, I kind of made things complicated for myself. He played g5, I played d4, which was not the most accurate. d4 might have been a little bit rushed. Apparently, I should just go knight c2, and then try hop into b4 or something like that. Even like a3 is apparently a line. I guess trying to go b5, and if trades, there's a pawn that'd be strong on b5, but I played d4. I'm in time pressure. I don't have the time logs here, but I think I had like under 5 minutes for sure, maybe even less than that. And then here he played knight e4, which I saw was a little bit tricky. I played bishop takes, pawn takes, and I just won another pawn. And I'm like, okay, I'm up 2 pawns in this endgame. This should be winning. The problem is he has the 2 bishops, and my knight's stranded on e1. If my knight's on d4 or something, it's perfect, because if I have a knight on d4, I could like push the c-pawn. My knight and bishop would be kind of complementary. It would be kind of taking squares away from this bishop. But my knight is stuck on e1. So he plays bishop e7. And then here I played f3, just trying to relinquish this pawn. He plays bishop e4, knight c2, bishop e2. And now I am winning. He should just take on f3, by the way, when I play f3. The best response is just to take. I would have gone knight takes, but apparently bishop e6 is just a drawish game. Attacking my pawn, I can't push it because he takes. And if I go knight d2, he has bishop e4, and he attacks my knight, which is defending my pawn. Okay, that makes sense, but what he did was kind of a mistake, because now I can go king f2. So when he takes, now I can just take with the king, and I have a more active king. And when he plays bishop c6, knight d4 here, I'm completely winning here, but I missed the win. At this point, I definitely have like 2 minutes left or something like that. So I played c6, which basically gives up a draw, because after bishop takes, I cannot take the bishop because he would then take mine and covers the queening square. Although, funnily enough, this is still a draw if I play f4, but anyway, I would not have done that, obviously. It would have been too risky. And then if pawn or bishop takes, which is what I played, he just plays this. And then we'll kind of see later, this is just a drawn position. So after bishop c3, I only had one winning move. Keeping in mind that he's threatening this, I have to go f4. I have to go f4. If he takes, I take with either pawn, it looks like, but e-pawn seems to make most sense. I play king e3. And then slowly but surely, I just have two passed pawns, and I should be able to move forward. Even like g4, f5 is a plan, apparently. If I can like trade pawns, I'll have 3 passed pawns, and I can just win this. But I did not find f4. I played the rushed but attractive-looking move c6, but it kind of blunders due to bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. And what I sort of missed is that from this position, I thought I could just get my king around to like c3 easily. If I get my king to c3, I think I'm winning. If I get my king to c3 and he has to move the bishop, because then I could just push the pawn. But what I kind of miss is that the bishop controls these squares. So for me to get the king over there, he'd have to do kind of a loop-de-loop, and it would take too much time. And as we'll see in the game, I did attempt that. Even though he did maybe a little bit risky, kind of let his king all the way on h5, he's still in time. I go to attack his bishop, but he attacks mine and protects it. Well, he didn't attack my bishop, but you see what I mean. And then played on a few more moves. The point is this is a draw, because my only advantage is an extra pawn, which is blockaded by this sort of king and bishop duo. And we just play a few more moves. And, I mean, I have, like, one last trick, potentially. If he plays, like, bishop f3, I might have h3, and if takes, I take the piece. But he could even... Apparently, it's still a draw after bishop d1 takes. Maybe it's a little bit more complicated since I have 2 pawns, but this would be clearly... Apparently this is drawn. I just say it because the engine says that, but I guess the point is his king can blockade one, then maybe the bishop like wraps around and blockades the other. But that would have at least given me some chances. and made him frustrated. But I eventually just played h4, hoping he'd forget en passant, but he didn't. He immediately took, and then we just ended up drawing the game here. So I mentioned that because I feel like that kind of defined my tournament. Round 1, losing to Logan's understandable, but then this one, I was winning and didn't end up converting, which was clearly frustrating. So in round 3, I was paired against Tonish. I'm not going to show that game. I mean, partly it was ugly. I just lost a pawn unnecessarily and was thoroughly outplayed. Round 4, I played Logan again, which was also pretty interesting up until a certain point in the middle game where I just hung a fork. And then in round 5, I played Daryl again, which I could show, but I don't think is really necessary. I ended up winning after being up a pawn. I mean, I can show the opening real quick. It was, well, players are reversed. I was black. D4, D5, C4, C6, knight C3, knight F6, knight F3. I played a semi-Slav, and he played this here, went to F4 for some reason. Bishop H4 or bishop takes F6 are better, and I was just able to take. He played A4, I went here, and eventually I was able to play B5. I was up a pawn. It was pretty tricky. I mean, I had to sort of navigate some things, but I ended up winning without too much difficulty. So in the final round of the double quad, I'm paired again against Tonish, who is rated 1819. So in this game, Tanish went E4. I decided to play a Sicilian to mix things up. Against Logan, I actually played a French. And against Tonish, the last time we played, I played E5. But I decided to do a Sicilian here. And he went A3, and I decided to go G6 because the idea behind A3 is that he wants to play B4. So G6 kind of counteracts that because the bishop would be strong on the diagonal. So knight C3, bishop G7. We played some opening moves, and apparently D5 early. D5 early is a mistake because the pawn could be really weak, as we see actually later. He played bishop G5, and here I started to realize that he was making things difficult because he's threatening to take the pawn, and I didn't really want to take because releasing the pawn tension just seemed anemic. I didn't really see the upside to that. I thought about D4, which is the best move. I just wasn't exactly sure what was going on with this pawn structure. Like, is this good for me, or am I blocking the bishop? But apparently I can just play like H6, say he takes. I thought he was going to go like here and reroute to C4, but I think even here, B5 is fine. And this is just a fine pawn structure. His knights are passive. I should have recognized that. But instead, I went F6, which is a grave mistake because for many reasons. It opens this up, and also after bishop C1, I missed his resource with takes, and knight F5. And suddenly I'm just dropping a pawn in the center of the board. There's no way. He has 3 attackers on it, 1, 2, 3. I have 2 defenders, my queen and knight. I have no way to put a 3rd defender on. Bishop E6, he just takes it, and there's just nothing I can do. And most importantly, the pawn is pinned. So I just braced myself, I played F5, and then hid. And then, he has an advantage, but then I thought he got a little bit careless when he played knight E6. And the reason for that is I can take, bishop takes, then I go queen D6. And suddenly, I have ideas. My queen's well placed, F4, F3 is in the air, my knight could hop in. I was like, I'm down a pawn, but I'm not feeling it as much as earlier. So after queen D6, he just dropped back. I played F4, bishop D2. I played rook to E8, which is apparently not best, but I wanted to just play something like F3. I was worried about rook E6, but apparently, queen D7, and he doesn't really have a great continuation, but rook AE8, and he's doing fine if he takes and plays queen G4, which attacks my pawn. Probably if I play rook F8. Now he goes rook E1, and I surrendered the file. And maybe now, like, rook E4 is an idea. So that would have been more accurate, but we're not computers, so he did take. Oh, you know what? All that happened. That's funny. I misremembered that. Rook A8 takes queen G4, but instead of rook F8, I played knight D4. So knight D4, my idea is I'm attacking C2. I have knight E2 ideas. And also, if you were to take the pawn, whether it be with the bishop or queen, I can take. I sack the queen, but I get it right back. And I'll be up a piece because I took the bishop. So he goes queen d1, and here the way for him to sort of capitalize on this is his only winning move, actually, is just to play rook e1. I don't have time immediately to take because my rook hangs. And if takes, I don't have time to take, although actually taking is the best move. So, but his position's better after bishop d2. He's rounding up my pawn, and there's not much I can do about it. Also, my king is open. His queen c8 check in the air. Like, if I go bishop e5, there's probably queen c8. And, I mean, he can collect a pawn if he wants, and it's just like, yeah. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we're not computers, so he just went queen d1, which seemed like the most natural move. He was starting to burn a lot of time at this point. I don't remember, but I think he's below 5 minutes by now. And I knew during the game that I was pressing. So I played f3. He played bishop e3. And here I am completely winning. Although during the game I was never sure because I was like, I knew I was pressing and I've been down a pawn, but I don't know if I was winning, if I was just slightly better, or if he just had to play super accurately. Like, I had no clue it was -5. I would not have guessed that. Now, after knight e2, which is what I played, king h1. Here, I only have one move to be completely winning. Another move does good, but here, in order to be completely winning, I have to take take g2, which I seriously considered. In the game, I play queen c6, which I thought made the most sense, threatening a pawn mate. But if I take immediately, king takes. Now, I didn't go into this fully. I didn't really analyze this yet. So this is my raw reaction. Queen c6, obviously not queen d5 because there's a bishop lurking, so we gotta watch out for those. And yeah, I thought king f1. I'm pretty sure that was what was going through my head. And I have to find the move bishop d4 here. Bishop d4, because I can't go queen h1 because my knight hangs, so I have to go here. Now, a couple variables. Ooh, if king takes, no way. If king takes, I sack the rook. If pawn takes, I go check, king e1, I have to throw in queen g1, and then takes, and then mate. Now, that's crazy. That would not have occurred to me. If he takes my bishop, I just go c takes, and now my knight's protected, so queen h1's a threat, and there's not a whole lot he can do. If he goes king e1, then I just play knight c3 and win the queen. I mean, apparently there's a forced mate, but at least we would take that. So, had I seen all this, f takes g2 was completely winning, but I would have had to sort of see far enough. I would have had to see that bishop d4 here is winning, and that I can just give up a piece and give up the exchange, which, oh, you could argue maybe if I'm 1850 I should see that, but it was also pretty hard to just see without computer. So I played queen c6. He played queen f1, defending. Where I give Tanishilov credit is he was in time pressure and defending. He was finding a lot of really good moves, though. Like, a lot of, like, best moves in the defensive positions. Here, he took. I played c takes. He took. And here, I am completely winning. I played queen takes c2. What I should do is I should play knight f4. And I'm threatening to take here with checkmate. Well, not checkmate, because of knight h3. The threat is, let's say he plays a4. The threat is this, and knight h3. Oh, sorry, apparently I just play rook e5. Even like knight h3, you know, he can sack the queen, and this is completely winning, but I would be even more winning after rook e5. So, I think the reason I dismissed knight f4 is I just thought he could, like, defend or something. I thought, like, queen d1, but here I have the rook sacrifice, rook e1, and then I go here, and then I deliver mate. So, that was interesting, but I took on c2, and then here he played bishop e4, and I'm like, oof, he's kind of defending himself. He has his bishop solidly placed. If he could put some pressure, maybe, I'm drawing every square except the knight. He could pressure my knight. And here I was like, I knew that the following sack wasn't winning, but I just thought it had to make things more difficult for him. So I took. And here he has f3, obviously his only move, because king g1's illegal, and if queen g2, I take the rook. But he has f3. I knew f3 was coming. I knew that this was all happening. I just wanted to get this position and thought I wasn't really in danger of losing, and I'm the one pressing. rook d1, d3, and then here I repeated once and found the move knight f4. And the idea behind knight f4 is I have this move d2. I have d2, and I have this maneuver. And there's not a whole lot he can do, because when I play knight d3, I'm also threatening f2, knight f2. So he's toast here, or so I thought, but he was able to kind of wiggle out of it in a way. I play queen d4. The idea, I think queen d4 is probably the only winning idea, but the thing is, I protect my knight and I threaten to queen. But he plays queen e2, and he has a queen check coming, so it's not quite over. I do make a queen. He goes check, king g7, rook takes. Sorry, he played queen e7 first, king h6, rook takes, knight takes. Knight takes is mandatory because if queen takes, then he would have a relatively easy draw. The point is that the queen controls a lot of squares here, whereas from d1, the queen literally has like no influence. He can go like check and then check, and it's just a draw. So I play knight takes, and then here he plays queen f1. Sorry, queen f8. Now, I win the game, probably. I mean, it's time pressure. It's kind of crazy. Like, my king would still be open. But I, for all intents and purposes, win the game if I put my king here. And it's quite simple. If I go king h5, he has no more checks. This is not a check. I mean, it is a check, but you know what I'm saying. This wouldn't work. This wouldn't work. This wouldn't work. He doesn't have a check here. And if he tries to, like, set something up, like, I'm trying to remember what I was thinking. Maybe I just thought there was, like, I don't even know. But, yeah, I'm threatening to go queen f2. Actually, this would be game over, I would say. Like, how does he defend this? No way, actually. The best move is apparently queen e8. Then I probably would have just gone queen f2, king h1. And, I mean, he might still have some checks lurking. I mean, it's not completely over, like, in time pressure, but it's knight e3, queen e5. Anyway, but I probably win the game. Very probably if I go king h5. I went king g5, which is still fine, but it's a mistake, because it allows queen e7. And then I make a move. I play queen f6, which completely throws the game away. After h4... king f5, queen e4 mate. And I lost. He had like 1 second on his clock, by the way. There was a 5-second delay. I lost. And yeah, it was just tragic. But credit to him, he sort of just made it complicated, was very resilient in time pressure, and I can say all I want that I should have won. I had a winning position or whatnot, which A, I lost a pawn out of the opening, so there's that. But B, he played well enough. He deserved to win, and I deserved to lose. And yeah, this was kind of filmed on Logan's Twitch channel, and he has given me permission to use footage, so I will show you some footage from that and the reaction.
Yeah. And then
rook b1, rook b1.
And then I think queen b3 should do the check. I mean, he can come on. So whenever he needs to.
You just need to watch Daniel win here, that's all.
Yeah, it's not easy though. What do you play? Queen d4, that should be good, I think.
Queen e2. Yep, Daniel's going to promote. Tanish is going to give a check. Daniel loses king. Tanish gives another check. Daniel loses king again. But yeah, like you said, we're kind of out of checks here.
So you really want to be careful about that. Just go king h5 and there's no checks.
Well, the king is marching up the board.
Yeah. And it should be over.
Earthquake.
He's still trying, but there should be... Oh, he went king g5?
Yeah.
I mean... I guess...
I mean, at this point, he's just making fast moves, so Tanish has to keep, Oh, now Daniel wants to trade queens.
Why is he doing this? Just king h5, no checks.
H4, check.
I mean, it's still winning. Oh my god. Wait, it's losing. Wait,
Wait, did
Wait,
Daniel just
what?
get mated?
Black is losing. Black is losing. No way.
Daniel got
No
mated.
way. No way. No way. He just hung it like that. He just hung his queen.
Tanish with the
He was
save of the
saving-
century. Oh my.
No
Oh wait, no.
way.
No.
Just
Yeah.
Just finish.
Yo,
further.
Lord Jim,
Mustache.
thanks for the 1,000.
So yeah, that was extremely crazy. A little bit of a tragic way to end the quad, but nonetheless, it was a really good game and just one of those funny moments that you'll probably remember forever. You meaning like me. I'm not, the player playing that generally would remember. And yeah, so that quad ended. Actually, I'm gonna show it right here. As you can see, the standings. So Logan ended up going 6 for 6, which was his goal, but he was still 2 points shy of Master. And as you can see, I struggled. I only scored 1.5, both points being against Daryl. By the way, these aren't, the games aren't in order, just like how they were able to rate it. So I didn't play Logan 2 consecutive times and things like that, but I went down from 1857 to 24, which is still okay. And the whole grand scheme of things, it was actually, I'm still like doing good, just being over 1800. But then we played another tournament, which ended up getting Logan to National Master. There I also, for the most part, struggled. I did have a really close game against Logan, but I messed it up. And then I played Jack Castro, who's actually Logan's grandpa. I should have not necessarily won, but I was better for most of the game, but I misplayed it, and that ended up being a draw. So with that said, I think the whole point of this video is, you know, it's like just one of those moments where I just had a chest high and then just played some tournaments, some local quads, trying to help this guy get Master, which has nothing to do with it. I totally agreed to play, and ultimately there were more games besides that, and yeah, I'm on a slump. I just lost 40 points, but I just gained like 60 or something, so it's totally understandable. Kind of law of averages, like, kind of breaks it down. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about my future plans as far as tournament chess goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this, and I'm going to move my face. This is my tentative plan for tournaments moving forward. I guess for like the duration of the summer / early fall. It's technically summer. Fall doesn't start till like September something. But I'm considering going to Houston next weekend, although I'm not sure. I feel like it might be beneficial to take a break after all of that, but I do also think it would be cool. I was actually just thinking of going to Houston, just not necessarily for chess, but then if I go to Houston and there's a chess tournament, it'd feel weird not to play, so I might do that. I'm not sure. Planning on going to Austin for the Summer Open 2024, and then Southwest Open, which is also in Houston. So those are the dates, and I will be updating you on how these tournaments go and the results. But yeah, I think the one positive I can take from this is I think there's a lot to work on. I think I need to work harder at the board. I need to do more studying. Even if I just look at one classic, you know, Grandmaster game just every day or something like that, I think that'd really help. And well, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, in the past, if I had lost 40 points over a week stretch, I would have been really frustrated. Now I'm not. I mean, there's a little bit of frustration, disappointment that comes from it, but I'm not nearly as mad as I would have been previously, which could be a negative, because maybe if I'm more passionate, I do better. I'm not exactly sure how the whole psychology works, but I feel like we're in a better state of mind as far as chess goes, and we'll see how that goes. So thank you all so much for watching. There will be more videos coming out. I'm planning on having more instructive game analysis, maybe even another wheel video. I heard that went really well as far as like viewership goes. Well, enjoyment goes maybe. And also a podcast with Logan himself is coming on. It'll be a little bit outdated because it will be before this whole push to NM that he did, like the 12 points or whatever he needed. But He gave a lot of insights as to traveling to tournaments and the road to NM and a little bit of local chess club gossip and things like that. So, yeah, please tune into that one. That'll probably be out Monday or something like that. And maybe even tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.